What's going on, Stim Junkies? High Stim Ace here, and welcome to this very special High Stim Sunday edition of the High Stim Ace review channel. Today we're going to be talking about a pre-workout that got sent to me all the way from the United Kingdom, courtesy of my good friends over at Cross the Limits. I'm going to link all the information in the end of the video. I'm going to pin the comment so you guys know where to pick this bad boy up, and I think a lot of you guys are definitely going to be interested to hear what I have to say. The pre-workout that I will be reviewing today is Goddamn Fury by Viking Labz. Now, Viking Labz is a brand that I reviewed. One of their pre-workouts about maybe 6-7 months ago was a crazy illicit hitter, and I haven't really heard much from them ever since. But this one here, guys, is all the rage right now. Everybody's talking about Goddamn Fury and whatever secret ingredient it has hidden inside. I took this boy for a test run, ran it initially for the very first time on Friday morning at half a dose, 10 grams exactly on the scale. Today, High Stim Saturday, the day that I'm recording this review, I ran this at the full 19-gram dose, and I have a lot to say. So let's not waste any more time. Let's roll that freaking intro. When we come back, we are going to review Goddamn Fury by Viking Labz. Alright guys, check it out right here in all of its glory. Goddamn Fury by Viking Labz. What a name for a pre-workout. And looking at this Viking over here, you can tell that this is going to get you hopped up in one way or another. Comes off very aggressive. I do like the branding. It looks like they put a lot of work into it. Got a bit of a holographic finish. And I did review something a while back for Viking Labz. I forgot what the pre-workout was called, but definitely had illicit vibes all around. This one's really nice. I love the colors. I love the feel of it. Let's get talking about Goddamn Fury. So cool looking label aside, I really like the branding. I like the font that they used in here. Everything just fits really nicely. This is a very, very aesthetically pleasing tub. And I do appreciate the fact that they put work into it because this is one that supposedly has a secret sauce type of ingredient in it. And yes, I did watch the Review Bros review and I do have something to say about that as well. Make sure you guys don't go anywhere because this one here might be a little controversial. But with that being said, very cool tub. Now the flavor that it comes with is a sour cherry. Yeah, just a sour cherry drink flavor. They labeled it a sour cherry drink. I think it's the only flavor they have available. Surprisingly, for what's claimed to be in here, doesn't taste all that bad. Would probably give it like a 7, 7.5 out of 10. It's actually a very delicate flavor, but you know, you do have a little bit of that synthetic back end, but very, very minimal. Actually, a solid, delicate flavor. I still wouldn't be sipping this one on the beach anytime soon, but I shoot it down and I move on with my life and hopefully wait for the crazy effects to come in. So we're going to go over the label. We're going to break down what is supposedly in here, and then we're going to talk about what I think is really inside this majestic tub. Now, looking at the supplement facts here, this comes off as a very inconspicuous looking label, almost reminds me of another pre-workout, which I'm actually going to make a comparison to later, which also had a very clean looking aesthetic and a simple label, but that one was absolutely insane. We're going to talk about it, guys. Make sure you don't go anywhere. But you're supposed to take 2 heaping scoops, which is going to come in at 19 grams, and there's 20 servings per container. Now, we're going to read the whole label. Keep in mind this is for 2 scoops, and the scooper is relatively accurate. It's a little bit underdosed, but maybe like 1 gram underdosed, so nothing crazy. They do say to take 2 heaping scoops, but hold your horses, guys. Make sure you're not going off right now and taking 2 heaping scoops because I do have a lot to say about this one. We start off with citrulline, DL, malate 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so you got to appreciate the honesty. They're not putting 2-to-1. 1-to-1 ratio, 6,000 milligrams. So 3 grams of L-citrulline to help with the blood flow. But in terms of pumps, don't expect to be getting crazy pumps on this pre-workout. This is one of these energy stimulant, crazy hopped up types of blends. So you can definitely, and you should definitely stack pumps on top of it. We're going to talk about that a little later as well. Beta-alanine, 5,500 milligrams for the tingles. That is a big dose. That is about 2 grams more than the clinical dose. So in theory, you should be tingling from head to toe. Arginine fusion matrix, 4,000 milligrams. It does have strength benefits as well as a little bit of pump benefits. L-tyrosine, 500 milligrams, a pretty low dose. If I'm being honest, I don't think the secret sauce in here is meant to be the tyrosine, so this is just a little added bonus. But usually I like to see anywhere from 1 to 5 grams, depending on the type of pre-workout that you're trying to get into. But 500 milligrams is not going to do all that much, right? We got caffeine anhydrous at 360 milligrams. Interesting dose. This is from the UK. They do things a little bit different there with the numbers. So 360, solid. It's a pretty high dose, but not over the top crazy. green tea extract, 250 milligrams, bitter orange, which is synephrine, 180 milligrams. Now, whether it's the actual synephrine or the more natural source, we're going to talk about that as well. Now, here's the ingredient where things get interesting, and this is the one specifically that everybody kind of put under a highlighter and are trying to figure out what exactly this ingredient here is supposed to be. Now, what we got here is Pao Chung tea extract at 100 milligrams. Super, super vague, guys. Remember that geranium extract or geranium plant extract is supposed to be code for something else, and that sounds very inconspicuous as well. So, Pao Chung tea extract sounds like some ancient like Chinese type of herbal tea or something. That's what it sounds like anyway, but we don't know what we're actually getting in here. There's been a little speculation. You guys could go down the rabbit hole and you'll find what you have to find. Lastly, and this is one that I was not happy to see on label, niacin coming in at 50 freaking milligrams. Before High Stim Ace breaks down my experience running goddamn Fury 2 times over the past weekend, don't forget to like this video, comment below, share the channel with a fellow stim junkie or a pre-workout enthusiast, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Alright guys, so goddamn Fury is indeed a special sauce type of pre-workout, and I don't think there's been this much hype around the product since Kill Switch, and before that it was probably Smash AMF. Now I know that there are certain websites that sell a lot of these illicit products. I'm affiliated with a lot of them, but that is not the point. The point is that once in a while there will be something that slips through the cracks, which has a very basic looking label, but people try it and it obviously hits like there's something extra in there, and then the speculations begin and the hype and anticipation builds, and that's why you guys come to reviewers such as High Stim Ace to see what the fuss is all about. Now, this one was interesting because I did watch the Review Bros review. Shout out to my boy Aaron. I think he covered it really well, but I do have something to say about that review in particular before I get into mine. So in their review, or rather in his review, Aaron talked about how the pre-workout hit him so hard and he was tweaking and pacing back and forth in the gym and swearing and almost called the ambulance, which I do believe. I don't think he's making any of that up. However, in his review, he also said that he didn't try the original 19-gram dose from the actual legitimately manufactured tub. It was a tub that got sent to him early, pre-production, before anything was even on the shelves, and he was essentially a guinea pig running whatever he ran from that black tub. So in my opinion, running that in 19 grams can't really compare to running the fresh tub I have here from Cross the Limits. It just doesn't compare in my opinion. So my experience was very different than Aaron's experience, and I know that nobody else reviewed this product, which is why I'm comparing it to his review. But my experience, what I ended up doing was actually running this at 10 grams the very first time, because honestly, I watched that review, I got a little scared, and I didn't want to go with a full dose right off the bat. You know, even High Stim Ace has his limitations, and, you know, despite the fact that I consume a lot of stimulants, I do it in an intellectual manner. You can't be an idiot when it comes to these things, because then, God forbid, you can end up in the ER, and nobody wants that. So the very first time, Friday, I was off of work, ran this one in the morning, 10 grams on the dot, and did not pair any pumps on top of it. I just wanted to get the full experience because I knew that this one was supposed to hit and last for like 8 to 12 or whatever amount of hours it was, and I just took it on its own. But what I did do was also pack 3 grams in a little baggie separately and take that with me to the gym on the off chance that at 10 grams, it's tolerable, it's not too crazy, and I kind of want to up the experience a little bit. So 10 grams, took the drink 20 minutes before I got to the gym, took an additional 3 grams with me in a little baggie, and kept it in my locker. Now, right off the bat, I got a very, very good head buzz, and this is about 15 minutes and onwards, because this thing is definitely a builder. I would say it takes a close to 45, 50 minutes to get to where you want it to get to, and then it builds slowly and gradually, and it just kind of stays in the same place. It's a very, very interesting experience. The first feeling I got 15 minutes in, you're going to get the beta tingles. They're going to come in nicely. They're going to last for about 20 minutes or so. Not overbearing for the amount that's in here, 5,500 milligrams. Not too crazy, not too over the top. What I was worried about was the 50 milligram dose of niacin, because usually anything over 25, 30 gives me the prickling, you know, the red elbows, the ears turn all red. I start prickling, getting uncomfortable, itchy. Thankfully, both times I took it, even at the full dose, no niacin flush, no uncomfortable prickling, nothing like that. So right off the bat, the beta tingles come in for about 20 minutes. They're warm, they're fuzzy, they're nice, and then they just kind of slowly dissipate. Now, the energy, this is the interesting part, because in his review, Aaron was talking about how he was pacing back and forth and crushing the weights and just hopped out of his mind. I did not have that experience, guys. I really, really didn't have that experience. To me personally, the first time I took it was a very good 2-amino feeling, but I'm not talking about the 2-amino that you're getting in 2026. I'm talking about that good 2024, early 2025, 2 amino from Dark Labz, that really illicit feeling. Think like OG Crack Barbarian or OG Crack Primal, right? Those very first production batches, or maybe the second batch before they reformulated. That kind of DMHA, just a very good buzz, floaty, good mood elevation. The music sounds amazing, and you are in the bubble. Now, once you start pushing the weights, the entire mood kind of shifts a little bit. You're still going to have that good mood elevation, not really so much of a euphoria, but the mood elevation and the high is definitely starting to build. And this isn't just like, I took a pre-workout and, I caught a little buzz. No, you're high on this pre-workout. Okay, this definitely is on that level. I would compare this to a Smash AMF. I would compare this to a Juiced, which, by the way, was the pre-workout I was referring to in the label section, where I said I could compare it to something else that's inconspicuous looking. This feels a lot like Juiced. If you guys took that OG Juiced batch, it just has you dialed in. You feel like you're on something, okay? It's not just a bunch of stimulants and nootropics. You feel like you took something a little extra that was sprinkled in by a happy manufacturer, in this case, Viking Labz. So what I'm trying to say is that you're definitely going to feel that unique tunnel vision, illicit feeling about 20, 25 minutes and onwards, and it slowly kind of builds, and you're entering this little tunnel, right? Very, very similar to Smash AMF, that tunnel vision, locked on focus. And then when you're pushing and pushing and pushing, you are so freaking dialed in on pushing the weight. It's not really such a crazy physical aggression. I didn't get an elevated heart rate on this at all, surprisingly. I didn't have heavy breathing, no sweating, no uncontrollable shakes, nothing like that. Surprisingly, a very smooth ride, but mentally just intense. Think Excelsior, think Smash AMF, think Juice, just getting you on another level. This is a pre-workout that takes you to another level, and you stay there for a couple hours, even post-training. Now, another thing that I found very fascinating about this pre-workout, and the only other pre-workout that really did this to me on that level was Smash AMF, I got this crazy focus, right? This tunnel vision, locked on focus. So when I'm pushing the weights, I got these blinders on. But then when I'm taking a 45, 50-second rest in between my sets, I start dozing off, completely dozing off. I have a couple of TV monitors in my gym by the bench area. So today I was hitting chest. And, when I take my rest set after doing my little circuit of 3 exercises, I take about 40, 45, 50 seconds. I was just looking at the TV, and I don't even know what was on. I wasn't even really paying attention, but I was kind of zoned into the TV, almost like the TV was absorbing me, and I was just absorbed into it. But then as soon as I was ready for the next set, it just like something switched in my head, back to the weights, back to pumping, back to crushing it, and was just doing that for like 3 hours today. I was in the gym for a very, very long time, so this is one you definitely want to take on a high stim Saturday, on a day where you want to be in the gym for a long time and you want to have that good, positive, motivated energy and just very good mental feeling. This is definitely more of a mental pre-workout. You're going to feel it on a physical level, obviously. I'm telling you, there's something extra in here. You're going to feel a high. This is very comparable to Smash AMF and Juiced, but less intense. Imagine Smash and Juiced had a baby, right? Imagine they had a baby, but nerf the crazy side effects by about 50%. So yeah, if you're sensitive to stimulants and you run this at full two scoops, which is 19 grams, yeah, it might hit a little hard for you and it might be a crazy experience. But if you're somebody like High Stim Ace, or a lot of you guys watching the High Stim Ace channel, where you're used to taking your high stim pre-workouts regularly, 3 times a week, what have you, 4 times a week, you guys have your rotations, everybody's different. But for you high stim veterans, I can confidently say there's nothing to be afraid of, even at 19 grams. Today, I ran it at 19 grams. I paired half a scoop of a Polynutrition Blood Sport on top of it, which adds about 5 grams of citrulline and a little bit of nitrates in there to kind of smoothen out whatever potential vasoconstriction or negative side effects I would otherwise have. I didn't go with the full dose. I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to take away anything from the crazy feeling you get on goddamn Fury, but I did want to kind of smoothen it out because I was still kind of worried. I had that video playing in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, I don't want to be calling the ambulance anytime soon from the gym. But I didn't have that experience. Again, very good mental feeling, 20, 25, 30 minutes and onwards. It just starts building and building. You are locked in. You are on a different planet. You are like Super Mario jumping on the clouds and the mushrooms, and you're in a different stratosphere entirely, but you feel great. You're motivated. You're pushing. You're sweating. Yes, there is a component of thermogenesis in here, and it does lead me to believe that the synephrine in here is legit. You're definitely going to sweat on this one, not as much as other fully loaded thermogenic pre-workouts, but you will be sweating. Very motivational type of energy. There isn't like a crazy physical aggression. There is no sense of urgency on this, by the way. It's not like taking an Alpha Yo pre-workout where it's kind of putting you on autopilot and your body just has to move. Not like that. Very similar to the older batches of Excelsior, not Don't you guys say that High Stim Ace compared to the Excelsior. I'm just saying it has a little bit of a similar effect. It's not like Excelsior. It's a lot more akin to Smash AMF and Juiced, just dialing you in, giving you a crazy high. You feel like you're on a different planet, but it's also a lot more manageable. There's no negative side effects as far as I had. No stimuli, no shakes or anything like that. The only thing I will say is that after that crazy workout, you're going to have 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you're going to go for a while. You're basically going to have boundless stamina until you eventually get to the point where you realize, okay, now I'm starting to get a little bit tired. And at that point, when you come home, there might be a bit of a crash. It's not the kind of crash where you're just going to pass out afterwards, but you start feeling tired. It's almost like you borrowed energy from your body, and now you're kind of getting into rest mode, and things are finally catching up and evening out. So that's pretty much it, guys. I really like this one, and I'm going to keep it in my personal stash. Definitely something I can see myself running once, maybe twice a month. I really like it. Again, everybody's different. Everybody is sensitive, okay? So I don't want to be irresponsible and say you guys are safe to take it at 2 scoops. Start off with 1 scoop, take 10 grams, and maybe even pair it with a light pump formula. See how you respond to it. And if there's no issues, then you can go 3/4. You can do 15 grams and then 19 or 20 grams as your final dose. But guys, start off with 1 to assess tolerance. We are all different. High Stim Ace is built different. So you guys don't want to be comparing yourselves to me and then, God forbid, ending up in a nasty situation. Overall, super, super unique product. Definitely one of the illicit underground hitters. It does live up to the reputation, in my opinion. I really like it. And if you guys are interested, you can pick this one up exclusively at crossthelimits.co.uk. I'm going to link it down below. I'm going to pin the comment. Discount code ACE5 will save you 5% off your entire order and help support the High Stim Ace YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I do hope you guys watched the entire thing because I know certain people like to skip around, and that's completely valid. But when it comes to products like these that might have potential side effects and maybe people are nervous, you should be watching the entire thing through. I appreciate you guys no matter what, whether you skip around, whether you watch just parts of the video. You guys are here. I love you for it. Don't forget to leave a like on your way out. I greatly appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't yet. Click the little bell notification for the hottest products and pre-workouts of 2026 and for many years to come. Follow the Instagram, and I will see you all next time for the next High Stim pre-workout review. Take care, everybody. High Stim Ace, signing off.